It's time for your Talk Time Live exclusive.
You are now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest laid the SmackDown vampire style on Jamie Foxx in the latest Netflix movie, Day Shift. Her name is Danielle Kennedy, and she is back to talk about her epic and action-packed role and more. Danielle, welcome back to Talk Time Live.
Oh, always love coming back and talking with my buddy Dax. Bada bing, bada boom, right?
You know, that's an understatement. So when last we spoke, you said that you had something big going on, and you also said that you couldn't say anything about it. And because I'm not one of, we're friends, I'm not going to be the ones that are going to Barbara Walters you out of this type of situation. Sure. I decided to be patient and wait. The wait was worth it. I was not expecting you to be, going toe to toe with Jamie Foxx in a movie, in this type of caliber movie. This was a very big budget movie. Okay. And I saw the receipt. Trust me. I really, first, before I even get to the question, I just want to say I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I talked to you about this, behind the scenes of this, and it just came out of this, like, really wanting more from this. And it really started by you in the scene with Jamie kicking it all off. And just, that's what brought people to the table when they saw you fighting Jamie Foxx. And it was like, oh, what is going on here? So, you know what it reminded me of too, Danielle? It reminded me, I don't know if you ever watched Kill Bill. Have you ever watched that?
Yes.
Okay. So, the first scene with, Uma Thurman and Vivica A. Fox. And that kind of really, they sold that fight scene to really get people to want to come. I felt like this had that same vibe.
Yes.
And I thought that you guys did it successfully.
I was so thrilled, and I was really quite shocked that I got so much footage in all the trailers.
Yes.
When the first trailer came out, I went, whoa, because I just wasn't expecting that at all. And then it just became more and more and more. And it was very funny because 2 nights ago, Jamie Foxx posted on his Instagram some guy watching that fight scene and talking to the TV. And of course, I immediately grabbed it and put it on my story and Instagram because I thought that was pretty funny. Because this guy was, he was using 4-letter words, and because he thought, oh, well, wow, he's killing an old lady. And then all of a sudden that hand starts going, and he goes, whoa, and then it got a little R-rated, his language. But what fun. Oh, gosh. They were such a fun bunch. Oh,
and that was exactly what you got out of this film, is that it was just absolute fun. Like, my wife figured out it was a vampire movie, and she's not really into, like, the horror and thriller like that, respectfully. But I think after seeing this, I think I'm going to convince her to watch this, because it, from start to finish, it really is, it's a misconception of what it is. It is a horror and thriller, but it's more action based than anything. And it's, right. I think once she sits through it and didn't watch the comedy side of it, she'll enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely, she will. And I loved when I got the job, and then they sent me the script, after all of the paperwork went through. Yeah. I loved the script. The idea that he's trying to buy his daughter braces and keep her in California.
Right, exactly. The human element.
I loved it. And of course, Jamie is such a pro. Oh my goodness. You just love him as a dad. You know that he's a great dad in real life. I mean, and Zion, who played his daughter, isn't she the best?
She was awesome. And then later on, we're not going to spoil it because this is still so early in the days after the movie for people, but she had some really funny lines.
She did. She did.
She pulled it off fluidly. I really enjoyed her. But
I did too.
I tell you what, I learned 3 things from watching you in this film. One, which I mentioned on your page, on my page that you shared, you ain't nothing to blank with. Okay. That's one. 2, you technically went toe to toe with Mike Tyson or Ray Charles, depending on your personal preference here. So, kudos to you on that. And 3, I now know by watching your fight scene how you've been married for so damn long. So for that sake, Kudos to your husband on that note.
Oh, you're so funny.
My compliments to Mr. Kennedy.
Well, in all due respect to the fantastic stunt team and the contortionists, I had some pretty heavy hitters backing me up. I'll tell you that. Pretty heavy.
Now you've been
hitters.
known to be you've been known to be like even agile in this stage of your career and life and everything, but even so, I was like, wow, they really gave you some extra lymph here.
They gave me some great mojo, didn't they?
Did your husband watch and turn around, and look at you, and was like, I never saw you do this before, are you?
Gee, how come I haven't seen that happen? No, he loves it. He wants to watch it again. We watched it once.
I don't blame you.
Watch it
I
again.
said the same thing. It's like, I got to watch this again. That's why I'm saying I'm bringing my wife into this, because it's like, it's that much enjoy. It's such a great fun popcorn, summer blockbuster film that just had everything. And it was just everybody in there. There was no wasted effort. There was no, wasted air with this movie, and I loved it.
Gary, the director, this was his directorial debut. But
was it now? Wow.
Yeah, but he's got a body of work. He has been, a top stuntman for some of the biggest stars, movies.
That's why he knew what he was doing in that Entertainment Tonight segment.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting.
But he was such a great guy to work with, and such a terrific director. And with all due respect to the horror people, the horror genre, this is a comedy horror. So, the people that made things like Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, or, some of them are like, sticking their nose up in the air or whatever. I mean, because who knows? I don't know if they are. This is a different genre. It's a comedy horror. It's an action film. I think it's in a league all of its own, to be honest with you.
I agree. And, it's okay. We need to change up on these things. We need to have different, variants of a part of genre. We just can't have the same rinse, Ross, and repeat type of situation. And this turned it up really well, especially, the fight scenes alone that really changed it up. It gave me kind of that vibes of Blade, and especially when they added, Scott Adkins into it. And if anybody's ever watched Scott Adkins in any films that he's been in, he's been known to do some really fast paced martial arts scenes that are just like have your jaw drop because you think it's from a video game, and he's really pulling this off.
Oh, he's amazing.
So, I mean, like, there was something for everybody in this, and I really enjoyed it. And again, like, the story and the plot and the character development on there was just really well done.
Oh, I'm so happy I'm part of it.
Indeed. But speaking of that, how did you come across this role? Was it, like, approached to you, or did you audition for this? Did you find out about this when it auditioned?
I auditioned for it.
Okay.
I auditioned for it, and I have to give some kudos to our mutual friend, Miley Flanagan.
No way.
I'll tell you why. It was a very short audition.
Mm-hmm.
It was a matter of somebody coming at me, this sweet old lady.
Yeah.
And then kind of getting, I can't quite remember what was on the script on the side.
Yeah.
And then getting hit, and then coming up, just looking like I was going to kill somebody.
Right.
With the expression on my face.
Right.
So it was kind of one of these things, like, oh, what are you doing here? And then,
right,
like that,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was that kind of thing. Well, I had done a short film that won and it's a horror film.
Yeah.
Had won all kinds of awards, and you had Rebecca Kennedy on your show.
Yes.
And Rebecca played my daughter, and the name of the film was Amy. And it was the true story of Amy Gillerin, who was a serial killer in the late 1800s in old people's homes.
Yeah.
The play Arsenic and Old Lace came from that. And so on my demo reel and on IMDb, etc., there was a clip of me turning into a monster and attacking her at the end of that short. And it scared the bejesus out of people. And because through the whole film, you see me as this matronly, lovely old lady passing lemonade around and,
Right.
of course, poisoning people.
Right.
But the end of that film was just horrific because I just turned into this monster. And Gus Cooper, who directed it, and a great guy named Dustin, the cinematographer, they just did a wonderful job. And really, I look so scary. So when I got the audition, I was like, well, gee, this is really short and to the point.
Right.
And I really got to make an impression. So I was talking to my buddy Miley about it, and she says, I'll tell you what you got to do. When you send that self-tape in, you get a clip of that shot of you at the end of Amy where you're, scaring the hell out of Rebecca Kennedy. And I said, wow, I've never done that before. I've never sent in other work that I've done, but it made sense.
Right.
So I did. And I've got, the little iMovie app on my phone to edit. So I did the clip, I did the scene the way they asked. And then I wrapped it with that scary scene, which was not even a scene. It was just a moment at the end of Amy. And I sent it over, and my manager, Eileen O'Farrell, oh my gosh, she just loved it. She sent it in, and I'm telling you, they responded within about 2 days.
Wow.
They said, okay, we want her. And I really think it was that clip.
That's awesome.
Another great tip from the genius of the world, Miley Flanagan.
That is absolutely true. And
Yes.
far be it for me to be surprised that she looked out for you, because that's what she does.
Oh, she always does. Yeah. we look out for each other.
Absolutely. And that's why I love her, and you as well, because you both have been like angels in my life. So, thank you both on that note. But, for anybody who knows you, like Molly and myself, like, you are an adventurous and daring person. Were you involved in any of the stunt work during that choreography with Jamie, or like, did you even attempt to ask to be a part of that?
No, I had a contortionist, and I had 2 stunt doubles, and then there was me, the main actress.
Right.
But 2 months before we shot that, they did a cast of my head, and I was kind of scared about that.
Right.
I was scared because that's where they put plaster all over, and they just got this little hole here to breathe.
Right.
So that's my face.
How long did that process take?
Well, they were pros. About an hour.
That's really actually not bad. I usually hear like, stuff like that, or see behind the scenes of that, and they talking like 3 hours, maybe, depending on the amount of detail for it. Right.
Yeah. No, they sent me to the top people in LA that do it. But yeah, I mean, these stunt people were just amazing. And I think the real message that hopefully we got across is, here's this, lovely lady minding her own business, and this guy comes bursting in, and then look what he ends up putting up with. And so I wanted to be sure that distinction, that I did that, I wanted to be that sweet lady before, and I was, devastated and shocked that he had broken in. So, but then we wanted to make that switch, and I just think the whole team did that, and JJ did that, and the editors and the tremendous talent of stunt people.
I will say this too, in that scene when Jamie Bud bust in, and you're just looking at him like, what are you doing in my house? But you did so in a threatened way. Like, you were not afraid. Yeah. And I got that. It was like, what are you doing in my house? Or, you better come up with the right answer before I come at you. It was never you was never like scared or defensive or anything. Like, you were, at the ready. Yeah. You weren't ready for that answer that he gave you.
Right. And I think that was part of it, of not giving it away. Like, if it was too over the top, ooh, what are you doing in my house? Yeah. It's like, I think if anybody's had anybody break into their house, and I'm not talking about vampires now, when they catch you off guard at first, it takes a while to process. And when I was in my head there, with him and with the crew, it was like, what the heck? You know, what are you doing?
Right.
So we wanted to keep it real, as real as we could, because you just did not want to give away what was about to happen, because I just thought it was such an exciting way to start that movie off.
And it was very fast paced and impactful too. That's what I loved about it.
Yes, I agree.
You've done a lot in the world of horror and thriller, in your career. Where does Day Shift rank with you personally among like the other movies that you've been involved in?
Oh, Day Shift's, a dream come true. To be with the top, director, stunt coordinator, Jamie Foxx. I have been a Jamie Foxx fan my entire life. He's so good in this role too. But Ray and every other thing he's ever done, he's just fabulous. Dave Franco, terrific. And Megan and Carla Souza, who I had never met before, she's just terrific. She's an international star, not just in the U.S. Natalia, everybody, and of course Snoop Dogg.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, I got to go to the first Zoom table read, which I thought it was so nice of JJ and the team to invite me, because it was just all the stars.
Right.
But when he introduced me at the table read on Zoom like this, or online, he said, "This is our first vampire. This is the first vampire. She's going to kick it all off." And then, of course, the whole revenge plot, kind of centered around my character. So I was just thrilled that they included me in everything. And just a very fun, down-to-earth crew. Jamie, as we all know, loves music and is so talented. And, he'd bring his boom box to the set, and everybody's dancing and everybody's happy. And, you just couldn't make a mistake either around J.J. Perry.
Right.
He's one of those people. I've never had a director. Here's his director's chair, right? And here's his screen where he's watching all the action on the other side of the camera. And when I'd come off camera and have a break, he'd get off of his director chair. Please sit here. No, I got this little tiny role in this big film with all these big people, and he's offering me his chair. He's that kind of a man. I just felt so happy and comfortable when I was down there, and I'm just very honored to be a part of it. And I just hope we just keep going to the top. I think we're like in the top 10.
As far as I'm concerned, that movie did hit number 1 on Netflix.
Yes.
So congratulations on that.
Yes. And I hope it just keeps going. It's so fun. I hope everybody that's listening to your podcast really takes the time, because it's so fun.
Absolutely.
It's so fun.
What was your favorite moment on the set? Like, do you have any stories, during your scenes and whatnot?
Well, I think the favorite moment was when I didn't ask Jamie, even though I wanted to, but I thought, I don't know if I should. Jamie said, "Well, let's take a picture together." On my phone.
We did see that picture too.
That was his idea.
Right.
That was his idea, because I was, the whole time I'm thinking, okay, when I'm done, do I dare ask him? This is going on in my head, because I don't like to be a pain in the butt when I'm working, because I'm such a fan. I'm such a fan, of everybody I've ever worked with. And he said, "Hey, let's take a picture." And I said, "Oh, I would love that." And of course,
well, he probably thought he took your teeth, he shot you. This is the least he could do. Okay.
I did. I said to him, I said, "You really beat the what out of me." And he laughed. It's just a regular, down-to-earth, very talented human.
Right. So aside from your scene that set off the movie, what character did you enjoy the most in this film when you watched it?
Well, gosh, I really loved Dave Franco with Jamie. I just thought
he did so good.
I loved that nerdy. Yeah. But Eric, the guy that played Ralph.
Yes.
that played the Teamsters or the vampire union's
Yes,
head guy. I thought he was
he was awesome.
hysterical, and he was in Narcos.
I saw that on the IMDb when I was looking it
Yes,
up.
he was in Narcos. So it was really fun for
Hmm.
me when I saw him on the Zoom read that first time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never said hi to him because we were doing our
Right.
thing, but I thought, oh, that's Eric from Narcos. And so I thought he was hysterical in this thing. I loved his scene and, you know, reprimanding Jamie and all that kind of stuff. Carla was
Yeah.
wonderful as the realtor. She just cracked me up. I also thought Jamie's
Oh,
wife,
Megan Good.
Megan, oh, gorgeous, so beautiful. I
That's an
thought
understatement.
that family, yeah, oh, she is a knockout. But I thought that family dynamic between Jamie,
Yeah.
Megan, and Zion was so
Yeah.
real and so natural. And oh my, that car chase where he had her in the back with her
That was
earphones on and
hilarious.
her iPad,
No fear
hilarious,
whatsoever.
so funny. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and of course Snoop. I mean, Snoop made a great big old tall skinny
Yes, he
cowboy.
did.
You know,
He rolled that.
yeah,
He rolled hard with
mentor.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. They're all my
I would
favorites.
also say the music selection too was awesome for this too
Oh,
because they
wasn't it
used some of
great?
Snoop's music from Death Row and everything, which he now owns and everything. So it was a kind of an easy thing to you're in the movie, let's use some of your music, and it was perfect because it gave that California West Coast flavor that this gave the ambiance of what was going on in that part of the country. So,
Yes. Oh, the way they shot that,
yes.
it just brought all. It just was so
Like I said, this is
real.
not a
That
cheap
was
film at
Southern
all. Like
California.
the type of cameras that they used for this film was just like you want this to be in 4K, you got to make it look like it's in 4K. They went all out.
Yes, that song "Mowing Down Vamps" with my best friend Bud. Oh, I love that. They had that. He was playing that on his
Hmm.
boombox on the set, and and then they would do little clips. JJ was really good about kind of documenting the whole
Yeah,
making of it, like kind of like the making of
right,
Thriller on Instagram for the last year or so. And so after I got back home from Atlanta, I would just follow those guys and see what they were doing every day because it was so fun. And when they were walking around with that, dancing around and mowing down vamps with my best friend, but I love that. I have that in my head
right.
constantly.
I
So
felt
fun.
like you are the go-to actor for these types of roles, and I mean, you've done comedy, you've done drama as well. But is that the case when it
Yes.
comes to casting, or do you still like audition for all of your roles?
Oh yeah, no, I auditioned for everything. Although I have to say, I just booked a role that I did not audition for, and I can't
Here,
really
see,
give
look
any
at you.
information about it.
You did the same
Yes,
thing
there
last
I
time.
go
You doing
again.
it again.
Yes, I just booked it last Friday, and I start shooting on the 25th of
Hmm.
August until early
Awesome.
September. So it's a good 7 days
Right.
on set, and it's the lead's mom. And the only thing I can tell you is it's a feature, but it's about a scam.
Mm,
Actually, it's a pretty common scam in our
interesting.
culture in the world of finance. And this son of mine is using my meager
Jeez.
savings in a very
This is
not
gonna
good
make this is
way.
gonna make people angry. And
Yeah. I think it's kind of funny though. I'm not, this is a real confidential thing. I don't even know who's in it
oh,
yet.
it's
I'm
one of
going
those
for my
things. It's
first
like they're
fitting
giving you
tomorrow.
sort of
Yeah.
like kind of what it like a makeshift script, pretty much.
Well, no, they have a full script. I've read the
Okay,
full script, but I just don't know.
who's
I
playing
just
the
don't know
roles
who
of
it is.
whatever, and the names could be changed or
Right.
whatnot or
And
whatever. Yeah,
you just don't
they're
know.
hardcore
And
nowadays with this.
this was a casting director that contacted my agent last week and said, we really want her for this
Hmm.
role. And they didn't ask for a tape. They said, send her demo
Right.
reel. And so I did not have to audition. They sent my demo reel off IMDb or Actors Access. And within 5 hours, the offer came
Was
through.
this? Do you think that this?
So I think that's a
Do you think?
first.
That,
I think that's
do you
a
actually think
first.
that the movie had something to do with this, or was this prior to?
Oh no, no. The movie the movie came out
Right.
Friday. This happened Thursday.
Okay.
I don't think it had anything to do with this movie because the role isn't.
It isn't horror. You're right.
at all.
But like I said, you've done a
Yeah.
lot of, drama, especially for ABC and all that stuff too. So
Right.
I can see where this goes.
Right. And this particular casting director had cast me on some real great primetime TV about 10 years ago. So she was, I'll tell you, there's nothing greater than when you have the support of great casting directors and they're on your team. And that's what this was. And I think that is the very first one because I had to, audition for Day Shift. I had to audition for Ghostbusters. Everything you've seen, Parks and Rec, Grey's Anatomy, Mentalist, How to Get Away With, etc., Sex Lives
Right.
of College Girls. I have auditioned for all that stuff over the last 20 years. So that was really kind of fun, getting that offer.
So Danielle, I got 2 more questions for you, but as always, you rock. I always appreciate having you on here.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
with you being an expert and artist of the horror and thriller genre, like, what would you say is the key factor, characteristics, like to play something in that type of, field? Because it's one thing to act in a scene, maybe drama or comedy, but to do horror, I don't think I got to believe that that's not an easy thing to do. You got to convince people that you're like legit scary or legit frightening and evil. So what factors play into that?
I think I think it's the same thing as with any role you get. You don't judge the role. You don't say, "Oh, I'm going to be an evil vampire." It's, I'm an old lady, but inside I'm really a vampire. That's the way it is. You don't put any kind of judge call on yourself. It's the same way when if somebody's playing a serial killer or someone's playing someone evil, I got to act evil. No, I think that you just bring to it as much normality as you can. And if your intention is there to be how this writer has created this individual, and it's there, and you go to that maybe dark place inside yourself, which you have to do, it'll work itself out. It'll communicate through the camera. But you also have to remember, here's where hair and makeup and all those people really come into play too. Obviously, it helps to have all those accoutrements going on with that, because it's you plus this team creating this character. But yeah, I've played. I mean, when I played Amy Gillerin, I mean, she was a badass. She was a real person. This is a real lady that stole thousands and thousands of dollars from helpless, sick old people, and that's who she was. So in my head, I played it like, well, I'm doing the right thing.
So you've done it for more.
These people are old.
You've done it more times than one. Is it like? Do you still feel that you researched the role in a sense of really trying to narrow down what type of vibe this character should have, or do you already know?
Yeah, I try to keep it real simple as far as just to go after one or two things in my intention. Like with a character like Amy, because that's somebody that was a real person. She believed that she was doing the right thing. She believed that these people are going to die. They're very sick. Their family didn't deserve their money. Her old people's home did. So I think when evil is present or anything horrible is present, these people are 100% committed to believing in that moment of time that they're doing the right thing. and
Which
that's
is
just
kind of
how I
art
look at
imitating
it.
life, unfortunately, in this day and age.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. Exactly. So a lot of it is just the commitment, not trying to, gee, I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
scary, or gee, I don't want to be funny.
Right.
That never works. I pretty much, if you follow the lead of a good writer, and that writing is good, and I think these guys that wrote Day Shift wrote
Oh,
a great
I
script.
agree.
I did.
I agree.
Yeah, and I love their kind of humor. With
With Dave Franco.
Franco wetting his pants, and
That
I mean,
type of
all
humor
that
is
stuff.
usually,
It
like,
was
if it's done
great.
right, it's really good. If it's too tongue in cheek, in a sense, it could go really bad. So, the fact that they made it work, and Dave Franco also played it really well. He didn't overdo it. He didn't underdo it. It was just right.
No,
I mean, because toilet humor,
yeah, he was a
right?
fish out of water. He felt like a fish out of water, and he was great. And I like goofy
Right.
humor too. I like my husband and I. We
Mm-hmm.
like goofiness. I remember seeing John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd in Neighbors, and that was the goofiest, craziest. And I remember we were in a show, and like nobody was
Mm-hmm.
laughing. And my husband and I were like falling on top of each other. It was like eighth grade, goofy, crazy
Right.
humor. I think that's so
Right.
funny. You know what I mean? And Day Shift had all those little
There
dings
was
here and
toilet
there,
humor, but it
and
wasn't overdone.
that yogurt thing. No, it's just
Right.
funny. It's got to be, of course, got to be the
And it
right
really
people
was,
too.
because, like, I mean,
Fox pulls that off
Dave,
so
you
good.
had Dave who was wetting himself, but then you had Jamie playing off with it too. Just going back and forth with it, so it really
Yeah.
worked out.
Exactly. Exactly. It was just a hoot. And once again, I can't say enough about J.J. Perry. Just a wonderful director. I'm hoping before I pass out of this world, I get to work with him again.
And I'm, as of right now, after enjoying it so much, I'm gonna keep my eye on his work too, because
Yes.
that's impressive for your first time. That is really impressive for your first time in a chair, and you made #1 on Netflix. That's really saying something.
Wow.
That means that, like, a lot of
Exactly.
people, more than
That's
just
something.
me and you, just click loved on there. So I'm looking forward to that. Last
sure.
question, like, at the end of the day, how would you define your career on this stage? At this stage,
At this stage,
you got a lot more stages to go.
really fun. Really fun. And getting to do all kinds of different things. I mean, think about it. I'm a vampire. I'm a roller skating diner waitress. I played a registrar, a real nerdy registrar for
Right.
Sex Lies of College Girls. I got to be a reporter. I've gotten to do so many fun things. And I just want the fun to keep
It
coming.
looks like it is, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. Danielle, thank you once again for being on the show. You are lovely as always, and it's just a pleasure getting to see you do what you do best in there, and just getting to see you at, like, all these different scenes and everything. It just pop up out of nowhere. It's just awesome, and I think, to me personally, this is going down as one of my favorites. Because not only did,
Me too. Day Shift. Everybody tune in. Watch
let
it
alone
on
just for the
Netflix.
first few minutes, because it is a banger.
You got that right.
So you already talked about a little bit, dangling the proverbial carrot of what you're about to do, but do you have anything else that you're have involved, or you can also at this time give your plugs and let our listeners, your fans, know where they can follow you?
Well, yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Danielle Kennedy. I'm on Facebook, and I usually post everything that I'm doing and what's coming up on the agenda for me on social media. I'm on Twitter, but I don't use Twitter too much. I probably should do
No,
more.
good-natured people do.
Yeah,
Not to say that Molly's not good-natured.
exactly.
She does it in
I
defense.
know what you're saying. Yes.
I would
Yes,
also
exactly.
add check out Danielle's IMDb page, because you'd be amazed of
please
all
do.
of the listings of shows she's been on and movies she's been a part of. It's just an amazing list, and a very long list.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot. I got one more plug. I'm going to be
Get
on
out
The
of
Rookie.
here.
Yeah, I shot The Rookie July
Awesome.
26th. It's a little
Mm-hmm.
part, but it's a fun part. Um, and I'm a grandma, and it's the first time I got to drive a car. Actually,
While
drive
on
a
set?
car in a scene on a TV show. And I pulled up, and I didn't hit the
They didn't
curb.
need the
I
green
did good.
screen.
So, and I had a
They didn't
ball
need
with those
they
people.
didn't need the green screen
Oh
for
God,
you in the background.
no, I really drove it. And ABC, The Rookie, and it's
Awesome.
going to air this fall.
Well, Danielle, thank you so
Right.
much again. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this very special day shift edition of Talk Time Live Exclusive. On behalf of myself and the lovely and talented Danielle Kennedy, all I got to say is learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. In this case, vampires. This is ACMG Presents Talk Time Live. We are out of here.